们敬礼传承祖师。
Let's pay homage to the latest gurus. Homage to the Venerable Mang Liao-ming. Homage to Master Sakya Tsongkhong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dukden Dorje. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the mid-deity of the group practice today, Mahajundi Buddha Mother. Simu, Danzhen Gacho. To all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and our participating VIPs today are the Madam to Ambassador Daniel Liao, Dharma Sister Judy, Accountant to True Bear Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa, producers for the Geni Tiansang Xinten from CTI TV Taiwan, Dharma Sister Rebecca Shiachi, Dr. Ryan Zhuang, Dr. Zhou, I have a feeling when I read the names of the VIPs, they're always the same, these few people. Of course, that's a good thing. However, we have many people coming from abroad or other places, and they did not register themselves as VIPs. Actually, their business, they may be big business persons. Say if they are the presidents or the general managers of a big business, or in the political arena, they occupy a certain position, or in the educational, in the academics, if he is an author, a famous author, or a singer in the entertainment business, or an artist, as long as they have certain professions, they can become our VIPs. Otherwise, we always say the same names, always just this few people. Ever since I came back to Seattle, until going back to Taiwan again, every Saturday and Sunday, there's nobody new, not more, not less. It's becoming boring. So we should add more people. That would be a good thing. So if you think that you are a VIP, then you can write down your name or if you have a certain profession. Because we have many famous people with us here. Musicians, a singer, an entrepreneur, an engineer who is responsible, say in Boeing or Microsoft, or if you're a leader, a lead there, that would be fine. You can register yourself. Because otherwise, always the same people. Good evening, everyone. How do you do? There are some people who speak Hokkien too. Good evening. And there are many people from Indonesia. Selamat malam. Good evening. Now it's time for Dharma teaching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it's okay. Now okay. Today we practice Mahachundi Buddha Mother. Actually, the sadhana was not so simple, but I condensed it just with the essential points. And the important part is with all of our practices start with this chief mudra, which is also Jundi Buddha Mother's mudra. When we form the mudra, what should we do? In the main part of the practice, you need to visualize Jundi Buddha Mother. And Jundi Buddha Mother is also referred as Junti Guan Yin, and she has 18 arms. So, if you see this Jundi Mudra, then that would definitely be Jundi Buddha Mother. And 8 arms on this side, another 8 arms on the other side. When we were young, we would say 18 arms Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin, Avalokitesvara. So Avalokitesvara or Kuan Yin with 18 arms. And at the center, there's always this Jundi Mudra. And this deity is also referred as the mother of 7 Kodis. So many Buddhas, 7 Kodis Buddhas, were born from Jundi Buddha Mother. So this is how special she is. And Jundi Buddha Mother has many Vajra names. For example, which one do you know? The pure Vajra, or Vajra of purity, or supreme Vajra, or wish-fulfilling Vajra. So those represent her vow. So the vow for purity, the vow to fulfill wishes, and the vow, the most supreme vow. So this name for the most supreme means that she has the most power, very powerful. So many people practice Ching Tze, especially in the chief sect of Tantrayana. They all practice Ching Tze, Buddha Mother. So all disciples of this chief temple would practice Ching Tze, Buddha Mother, or the all-inclusive temple. Not like us, True Buddha School, we have 8 principal deities and many other deities. It's not specified. At the Master Nona, at the Nona Spiritual Center in Taipei, and they practice only 2 yidams, or personal deities. The man would practice Guru Padmasambhava. So every man would practice Guru Padmasambhava as his yidam. There's no need to ask. If you're a woman, then you would practice Green Tara. No other choice at that place. One is Guru Padmasambhava, for the man, and the woman will practice Green Tara. There's a sect or school that's called the All-Inclusive Temple, or the Chief Temple of Master Pu Fang. The yidam is only one, which is Chundi Buddha Mother. And the temple that he built was called the Chief or All-Inclusive Temple. And the deity enshrined there was Mahachundi. And the other deities are just for getting to know. In Tantrayana, as long as you gain spiritual union with one deity, one means many. One means one is many, and many is one. Once you gain spiritual union with one deity, then all deities that have affinity with you would be connected to you or in spiritual union with you. But if you don't have any spiritual union, then of course you have no connection with none of the deities. But once you are in spiritual union with one deity, then you would also be in spiritual union with other deities. Because all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are one family, one clan, one assembly. Like people that came today have the same bloodline from families, from the same family. How many families of the Buddhas do you know, that masters? The Lotus division, the Vajra division, and the Karma division. Karma or work. Vajra division, Lotus division, the jewel or money position, and the Buddha division. They are considered like clans. So once you gain spiritual union with one deity, you would be with all of them. So in invocation, I can say this about one thing. One day, there was a lady who brought lots of thunder-stricken words. Those with Dharma power or who are in spiritual union with the deities, when they knock the wood, the thunder-stricken wood, then it's the same as thunders in heavens. Because you have a yidam in spiritual union with you, so once you knock it, then the whole universe will open. With the sound of the thunder, all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Herukas, Dharmapalas, Dharma protectors, Dakatakinis, and all devas, divinities, will hear the sound of the thunder. So all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of all heavens will descend. So that's why we call it Luo Tian Da Jiao. Luo Tian means all the celestials and heavens. And because of the thunder-stricken wood and the thunder decree, then it can be done. So she brought lots of these thunder-stricken words and asked me to bless them. And she wanted to sell them. So then you can start doing this when at home, before reciting sutras, and then there would be thunders in all heavens. If you think that you have power, or dharma power, if you think that you're in spiritual union with your yidams, whichever deity, say like Skanda, or the 1,000 arms, 1,000 eyes, Guan Yin Bodhisattva, Vajrasattva, Guru Padmasambhava, or whichever deity, if you're in spiritual union with any deity, then once you strike the wood, then it would be incredible that the whole heavens will hear the sound of thunder and they would all descend. And then you tell them, I strike a great thunder today, and please bless my little chick so it doesn't get sick. Oh my God. If you pray that so that your pig doesn't get sick, then there's no need to strike the wood. You can just place a note about to avert the epidemics, so that you don't suffer from any of the epidemics of the chickens or pigs. You know, very strange that Reverend Bien always brew some chicken soup for me, and every time she does that, then there would be chicken flus or bird flu in Taiwan. So the soup that I drank was from the chickens with the bird flu. So that's why don't force anything. So when there's like the birds flew around, please don't make soup for me. Of course, when you go to the chicken seller, of course they tell you that, oh, the chickens from our farm don't get affected. But how come? Because everybody else is affected. You know, nowadays a lot of food and hygiene, so food and drug administration would take care of any problematic things. So at those times, please don't force it. How can you say that it's fine during such time? So because of drinking so much of that kind of soup now become like the god of epidemics. So, but this thunder-stricken wood should only be used for major or for huge issues. You know, you may find some people selling these thunder-stricken woods at the ceremony next week. So you should only use it for major issues. Please don't use it for minor or small problems. But you can buy it and to enshrine it or to place it at your shrine and only use it for major or important issues. So Mahajundi Buddha Mother is a great bodhisattva, and her name has the most supreme with it on it. Once you gain spiritual union with the most supreme Mahajundi, then naturally you can invoke the whole heavens with the thunder-stricken wood, as long as you are in spiritual union with a Jundi Buddha Mother. Then it's all right for you to perform such a ceremony. So although if you're just venerable, but if you're in spiritual union, but it has to be a true spiritual union. Say if we invoke Jundi Buddha Mother. Just now we practiced Jundi Buddha Mother Dharma, and Jundi Buddha Mother descended. Now we invoke you to descend upon Grandmaster Lu's body. So she descended upon my body. So she descended upon my head, on top of my head. And she radiated yellow and white light. Yellow and white rays of light. And I could feel that I'm slightly different when she descended. And she descended twice. I don't know if you felt anything. Maybe you were looking at me, at Grandmaster. It's all the same. There's no difference. And sometimes there's a slight difference that you can tell. And she was radiating light. If you took pictures during that time, some cameras can catch those kind of light rays. Grandmaster has no cameras, And many of the photos of lights were not taken by Grandmaster. See, Grandmaster never takes pictures with any cameras. Always other people took photos. There was a very famous monk from Vietnam, a Mahayana Buddhist monk, and someone told him that, hey, in Taiwan Lechang Temple, there was Grandmaster Seng Yen Lu, who is very spiritual responsive. And why don't you go and check him out? If you felt any spiritual responses, then you can take refuge in him. So he came with a group of Vietnamese. He came from northern Vietnam and followed a group of people and other Dharma teachers from the southern Vietnam to go to the True Buddha Taiwan Temple. And he thought, oh, just many people and nothing else, nothing special. And then, but he took picture with his camera, and then he saw in his camera there were nectars showering from the sky, but there was clear blue sky then, no water. But he saw the like raindrops of nectar from the sky continually upon all participants. So it's not rain, but in his camera there were lots of nectars showering, and then he took refuge. Anyone knew of this event? Lien Tong? Nobody else. Of course, we need at least we have one witness. It happened in Taiwan, at the Taiwan temple. You know that southern Vietnam monk had 7 temples there. Sorry, that was the southern Vietnam monk following the northern temple. And we also had a monk from the northern Vietnam, and he also had lots of temples, and he also took refuge. And we have a Dharma master in North Vietnam. And he's called the Venerable Monk Hai. And he came to get some Dharma transmission, and I conferred the Acharya empowerment. And we also have many disciples in South Vietnam that have responses. And he claimed that he was a disciple from 400 years ago. Good thing it's 400 years, not 500 years. He called himself my disciple from 400 years ago. And I observed him that he does have some supernatural power or responses. So Mahajundi Buddha Mother has purity, most supreme and wish-fulfilling appetites. So she covered it all. And because she's the most supreme, so she's also a Dharma protector. So by practicing Chundi Buddha Mother, you don't need any protectors, because Chundi is the most supreme. So she's also your protector and your yidam, both. And today, we will continue. Also, there are similar points. So in your qi or breathing practice, there are the common practices, that you need to practice warmth so that your body would feel warm and you will not feel cold. And you can achieve that by practicing breathing or qi. So if you have blocked sinuses, say during a cold, as soon as you meditate and you breathe in the air or qi with both nostrils, and you lift up your anus, lift the lower qi and press down the upper qi, and you hold your breath and you would feel warmth. When you hold your breath for a period of time, and when you cannot hold it anymore, you push the exhale through your nostrils, and then your nose will open, your sinus will open. So say if you catch cold and your nose is blocked, then by practicing the treasure vase yoga, then it would be open. So these are the common practice or the similar points that have to be practiced by everyone. But the earlier ones, you just practice the ones depending on what problems you have. There are several of them here. Like the last one, no sound entering into the mouth. It can eliminate all kinds of disorders of the body, or to alleviate the ailments of water retention and digestive system, stomach and abdomen. And it can also eliminate all kinds of disorders of the body, or chaotic feeling of the body. Then if you have this problem, then you need to practice the no sound entering into mouth, which is the sixth. And now I'm talking about the common practice that everybody has to do, which is the spiritual warmth Dharma practice. I have talked about this before. Forefinger width below the navel, there is a half ah sit syllable upside down. Inside the life generation palace, there is a triangle. And two triangles forming a divot, star of Devas. Star of Devas. And at the center, there's a half ah sit syllable. In Sanskrit or Tibetan, it's like this. It's almost like 5, and then hook on the side. So you just take half, and then you put it upside down. Then it would look like this. Curving like this. It looks like a flame. Like a snake. Flame. Visualize the Star of David at the Life Generation Palace. And at the center, there's a half ah upside down. It can be red. And with 2 breathing, you breathe in through 2 channels at their juncture to enter into the central channel. These two channels are connected to the central channel at the navel chakra. So it enters into the central channel at the life generation palace. And through the slow, fine, and soft breathing, you blow on the ah syllable at the life generation palace at the central channel. It's like blowing on a furnace. And then you lift up the anus to lift up the lower qi. Visualize the half ah syllable. Breathe in until the qi enters your dantian to blow on the upside down ah and ignite it to become a flame. Once the flame is ignited, the half ah will represent something. It represents Dorje Pamo, Vajravarahi. Vajravarahi is red. In a dancing posture, standing on the life generation palace center. It becomes Vajravarahi, becomes the flame. And you breathe in the qi to blow on the fire, on the flame. Just when the flame is about to catch fire, I have taught this before, it's like rubbing the sticks to ignite flames, ignite fire. So, in the ancient time, you keep rubbing on the pointed wood until it's become very hot, and then until at some point the fire would be ignited. And in our body, it's called the spiritual warmth. So by pressing, pushing, and breathing, and you have to rub it really fast when it's about to ignite. Then that would be the forceful breathing in order to let the flame burn. Once it's ignited and burning, it's called Kundalini, or inner fire. So once the fire is ignited, you can lift it up all the way up to the body chakra area, where there is a solid celestial or divine water. Once it's being warmed, it would start to melt and drip, and that would be called body chakra. And with the body chakra and in a fire, it would moisten and open the throat chakras, the heart chakras, the navel chakras, and the secret chakra. These chakras will open one by one. So at that time, your qi and temperature will be robust. So you use the inner fire to melt the light drops and to moisten, to open, and to melt all the channels and the chakras. So in Lamdre, these are the common points. So at the navel chakra, there is a globule of white light. Inside it, there is a red character like a cinnabar thread. Like what I said earlier, the half A. Visualize the qi gradually enters it, enters the A, or without the white light, only the qi entering into the red thread. Visualize the fire about 2 finger width or 4 finger width length. So the length of the A is either 2 finger width or 4 finger width. It's as tall as this, 2 or 4 finger width. Or visualize the Dharma origin at the navel chakra. Inside your navel chakra, there's originally the Dharma origin, either in red or yellow color, and visualize it to be as wide as the earth. It's not small, and as deep as the ocean, as high as the sky. And at this moment, it is as enormous and majestic as the Yidam. So that's fine too. So you visualize your body is crystal clear, transparent. And the only thing left is the central channel. And at the navel chakra, there's such thing. Of the 3 kinds of exhalation, the inhalation should be gradual, but it should fill the limbs to the fullest. It should fill the navel chakra. In these 3 kinds, the exhalation should be slow and gradual. This is very important. So when you exhale, it should be slow. And it's important, after exhalation, don't rush to inhale again. So you hold the breath inside, and you also have to hold the breath outside. What I just did was breathing in the qi until it enters into your lower dantian. You lift up your anus, and then you hold your breath, and you hold it for 1 or 2 minutes until you cannot hold it anymore. And you gradually exhale it through both nostrils. And after you breathe out, you hold it. You don't breathe in again. So you breathe in, you hold the breath, and then once you exhale, you also hold the breath. And you hold it as long as you can. And then you breathe in again to the dantian and hold it. And then you exhale it again and then hold it again. So breathe in and breathe out. And you can train so that you can do it longer and longer. So the breathing of the turtle, or the practice to breathe like a turtle, is that you breathe only 4 times a minute. If you can breathe only 4 times in a minute, then you will live a long life. Like the term, the Chinese idiom in Chinese is like you live longer than the turtle, always very slow. Then of course, its breathing is also very long. He only breathes 4 times in a minute, so he lives a very long life. When people are about to die, they would breathe very fast. So generally, you want to breathe very slowly, very softly, and very long. So the number is less than most people, but the qi that you breathe in are really a lot. And for the woman, it's to the heart, and for the man, it's to the navel. When you perform the... So when you do, you pant it. When you perform the treasure-based energy yoga, it's like a vase. So if you lift up the lower qi and press down the upper qi, and if you don't push it right, for the woman, then the menstruation blood will flow. Then you would bleed a lot. So that's why for the woman you have to be careful. So for women, you can only visualize at the central dantian, which is at the heart chakra. And for men, you can do it at the lower dantian. That's to avoid bleeding. Because treasure-based energy yoga is forceful, because you lift up the lower qi, push down the upper qi, and ultimately it would generate bliss, and because of the inner fire, you would be able to emit light and be radiant. So the light of the central channel will be emitted, would be illuminated, and then the light eventually will be emitted through the skin pores. So after exhalation, don't rush to inhale again. When it is full inside, it is key that it does not leak out. During the treasure-based energy yoga, don't let the lower qi or nor the upper qi to leak out. That's a pith instruction. When the full qi inside is in harmony, it is key that don't repeat the inhalation. When the lower qi and the upper qi is in harmony, when you hold the breath, don't breathe in again. This is most important. And your posture, the posture of your body is the seventh posture of the lotus position. But it can be in any comfortable position. But during 3 kinds of exhalation, it is important to sit upright And for the 2 breathing to fill inside, you should sit in a lotus position, which is the double lotus position. But if you're aged and you have hard bones and you cannot, or you have short legs that you cannot sit in a double lotus position, what should you do? Then you can just sit in a comfortable position. Or 1 foot, just pull it inside as close to the anus as possible. And the other foot cannot be on top of each other, but as close as possible to the anus. Otherwise, you have to be in a double lotus position. Or the single lotus position, or the 2 feet are very close to your anus, then you would have more power in doing this practice, because you have to lift up the lower chi, and you would have more power if you sit in a double lotus position. And you have to pay attention that you have to heighten the backside of your seat in order to be able to sit upright. If you don't have any cushion at your butts, then you would fall backward. So you should put a cushion. So if you sit like this, then this is close to your secret chakra. The heels are close to your secret chakra. And then this other feet placed on top. It's not on top of it, but just next to each other. But you have to put cushion at the back. So you sit in this posture, and the 2 hands like this, open up. And through both nostrils, you breathe in. And you have to visualize the life generation palace at the Star of David, and at its center there is a half A, and visualize it to be thoroughly red at the navel chakra on the central channel. And where is the navel channel? Navel chakra is at the 4-finger width below the navel. That's the place of the life generation palace. And that's how you practice the inner fire. And sometimes you have to tie, because you have to press on the navel area. So in the past, I often said, how do you practice the non-leaking? First, you place the tip of the tongue at the upper palate, and then you tuck in your chin to press on the Adam's apple, and then push in your abdomen to the back. So retract your abdomen. So that means the abdomen touched the back. And then 2 eyes looking up, looking at your 3rd eye. There's the sun and moon looking at the sky. And then lift up the anus. You have to do all those. And then you visualize the life generation palace. The half A like a red thread, and use complete breathing and press down the upper qi and lift up the lower qi and cover it. If you practice this qi for a long time, then you would start generating qi, you would start generating inner fire, and you would have attainments or fruitions in your non-leaking practice. They all together, combined together. There are many Dharma masters to go to the Sakya temple, especially reference Shenren. Where is he now? You often brought many people to the Sakya temple, right? You know, our Vajra Acharyas, our Vajra masters here, went to the Sakya temple, and there was a Lama. I don't know which one, whether it was the abbot or somebody. And he saw male or female Vajra masters who went to the Sakya temple, judge these masters to fail at their breathing practices. So he quietly watched your breathing, because as a yogi or siddha, a yogi or sadhaka, you need to breathe slowly, softly, and longly, complete breathing. So he observed your breathing. Oh, that's just mundane breathing. Our acharyas, which mean our masters or Dharma educators, there was a Lama at the Sakya temple who observed your breathing because you went to visit them, like the one with the red collars. And he said, they're all just mundane people. There are no qi practitioners. None of them are qi practitioners. There's no complete or deep breathing. Like when you speak to him, he can notice that whether your voice comes from Dantian or not. So does your voice come from Dantian? And then you speak to him, and you use just a mundane sound that your qi, your breathing just gets to your throat. And he could tell. So these acharyas fail. They just breathe the way mundane beings breathe. So Reverend Shenren, you brought so many people to the Sakya temple, and to let the Lama notice that our acharyas are just mundane beings. There's someone who talked to me like this. And they panted so much, so they are sick. They speak with their throats. At least you can use your lungs. At least your qi has reached your lungs. Now, can you do better speaking from the Dantian? When you speak to those lamas, speak from your Dantian. When you chant mantra, do it from your Dantian. Not superficial. because you have to do complete breathing every time. A true spiritual cultivator would breathe like this. They would breathe in and breathe out through their toes. You breathe in until it reaches your toes and your whole body. Then there would be a true Qi practitioner. But for each one of them, they just eat at mealtime, and then they stroll around, they go shopping, they go to the lake to see the sceneries or look at the stars. Of course, that's a nice life, but you should breathe in more air, such good air in Seattle. Please do complete breathing, that at least it reaches your lungs or your dantian. Don't let people notice that your qi just reached the throats. So they said it. He said it, that the Vajra masters of True Buddha school don't perform inner practice. For the outer practices, the most you reach is spiritual union, then you're guaranteed to rise to the Pure Land. But for the inner practices, you have to practice qi, channels and light drops. And even when you don't do inner practices, at least you should do complete breathing, that you can breathe in the qi until it reaches dantian. And people could tell that you only breathe to the throat. So the next time you go to the Sakya temple, please pay attention. You should show them how you breathe. Because they observe your breathing. Please don't be just like mundane beings. Oh, it's almost time. Helping a friend to ask. The friend has a final game at July 15, and it costs $88,000. And he got the ticket long ago. It turned out on that day he's also getting married. So now he's asking who can take his place to get married on that day. Who can help him to get married on that day? See? What is his priority? Because he didn't pay attention to the date. This is pretty coarse words. Like, you know, when you at the end of the year, you just like get a lottery. Like for us, the shift heads, you know, we get shampoo and then we get the blow dryer. So that's why we just need something that's useful. Like also for the qi practice. Because qi practice would be beneficial for your health. It would be beneficial for non-leaking, for igniting the inner fire, and for the smooth flowing of all your channels and qi. So the qi practice is beneficial for those. And the useless stuffs are useless. Then we don't need them if they're useless. Human life is like talking on the phone. If you don't hang up first, then I hang up. What is the secret for a long life? Just keep breathing and don't stop breathing. The secret to a long life is to keep breathing and never stop. The secret to a long life is to keep breathing and never stop. Of course, that's a common sense. But the true secret to longevity is on your qi, that you can take in the qi of the universe. That's extremely important, to take in the qi. Second, you need to know how to utilize your divine water to let it descend to moisten your whole body. In Taoism, this is called the celestial lake. And you use the water of the celestial lake to nourish your whole body so that your cells are all alive. And third point is never to leak any of your hormones. There are lots of hormones inside your body. Saliva is a kind of hormone. The digestive enzyme is a hormone. The insulin inside the pancreas is also a hormone. The insulin is also your hormone. Melatonin is also hormone, your hormone. So if those hormones decrease, then it would affect your body. So you need to maintain the increase of your hormones, that it doesn't decrease and it doesn't leak out. That's the secret for longevity. If you can retain your hormones, then you would be young forever. Once you leak out your hormones, once you lose your hormones, then you would age. Very fast, very simple. For longevity, take in all the qi to circulate inside your body, to open all the channels, and to let the water of the celestial lake to moisten and nourish your whole body, and to maintain and retain your hormones and to increase your hormones. Then you can live a long life. Very simple. Just 3 quintessential points, and there are more. There are 2 eagles chatting on top of a cliff. And all of a sudden, they saw a jet passing by. And then one of the eagles said, "Why that thing goes so fast?" And the other eagle replied, "Hey, if your tail is on fire, wouldn't you rush as well?" Sometimes you don't need to rush around. The only thing that you need to rush or to be forceful is when the inner fire is about to ignite. And all the other times you need to breathe slowly, softly, and long. So when we were young, when we want to burn fire using charcoals or coals, say to heat water so that our parents can bathe in warm water. You know, we have electricity, but we don't have a hot water furnace. So we just use like a fire and blow on the fire. So you need to fan the fire really fast in order for the fire to blaze. So when the fire is just about to ignite, or when it's just been ignited and you want it to burn, then you have to breathe very forcefully and fiercely and fast and full and powerful in order for the flame to continue to burn. And at that time, there would be sound made. There's the name of the book, How to Change Your Wife in 30 Days. How to Change Your Wife in 30 Days, the title of a book.
How to change your wife in 30 days. 我念这样，对不对？
Was that right?
How to change your wife in 30 days. 如何在30天之内改变你的太太？结果这本书啊
How to Change Your Wife in 30 Days.
狂销200万本。
And in 1 week, it sold for 2 million copies. And then the author discovered there was something wrong in the title.
How to change your
The correct one was How to Change Your Wi-Fi in 30 Days.
No, not Wi-Fi. Life. How to
life.
your life in 30 days. 如何在30天之内改变你的人生
How to Change Your Life in 30 Days. And after the title was corrected, they only sold 3 copies in 1 week.
这个 wife 跟这个
Wife and life.
一样的。
It's a huge difference. It's a difference.
有用跟没有用就是在这里了。
So whether it's useful or not, that's the point. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.